Back once again for the renegade master. 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 Back once again for the renegade master.
Hello my renegades, and I hope everybody is doing well, and I am back in order to talk about a series that I have been watching, and I've been watching it from jump. And if you don't know what that series is, it is a Netflix series, and it is Top Boy season 3. There's only 6 episodes on season 3, and I will be going through them and breaking them down and having general discussions about them, to be fair, because I have been watching Top Boy from when it first came out, like Summer House Days and all of that. So I've been watching it as it's progressing, and you know, now we get to the final season. So just before we get into episode 1, which is called Step Back, I would ask that you hit that subscribe button, hit that notification button, so you know when I am back and doing videos. And let's get into talking about things Top Boy. So as we know from this season, the starting of this episode, it does the recap in terms of Sully basically dunning Jamie. So shot me twice in the chest and then shot me in the head, and Stefan was the one that witnessed it all. Bearing in mind Stefan and Aaron were both in the house, Stefan was the one that witnessed it and then saw who actually offed Jamie. So Stefan knows it was Sully at the end of the day. Now, if you don't know, the reason why I think that Sully did what he did is because him and Deshane in the previous season had the chat that Deshane wanted to get out and become legit. He wanted to get away from the streets, basically. And he'd already started banking his money to the point where he was wanting to pull out, and basically said that he thought that Jamie would make a next, basically, Top Boy alongside Sully. But Sully didn't see it going that way at all. Sully wanted to be Top Boy of it all. He did not want to share with Jamie. Bearing in mind that Jamie tried to kill Dude more than once, there was no way in hell Sully was going to share any of that shit with Jamie. Sully did not want to work with Jamie in the slightest because he did not trust Jamie at all. Also didn't trust his group. But it was Deshane who made the move to call them in to get them to be his little soldiers. But Sully didn't trust them in the slightest either. I think my take as well is Deshane and lots of people throughout this has underestimated Sully. Sully is a bit of a hothead. He is a bit of a hothead. But whereas Deshane is quite cold, Sully has got a bit of a heart and will give people a chance up until a point. But if you cross him, he becomes deadly, basically. So I think in terms of deadliness, they're both on par in that sense. So basically at the start of this episode, we see that Shelley is wanting to open a franchise of nail bars, basically, and has gone to Deshane to speak to him about him coming into business with her, because he's got the collateral at the end of the day. So he's got this 15 million or 16 million, as he's arguing with, set into a company. I think it was for the Summer House redevelopment. So he's got this money sitting there, and basically he wants to go through with this plan with Shelley in terms of opening the nail bars. So he's basically saying that he's going to get the money out in order to do what he wants to do, and basically be done with the whole issue with the drug running and all this, that and the other. He wants to be completely done with it. So you see that in him saying that, he's going to leave Sully to be Top Boy. So they're there having their dinner, and reality kicks in, because Deshane gets a text from Jax to tell him that Jamie's been done. Now straight away, once Deshane gets that, he knows the only person who it could have been was Sully. Deshane ain't stupid. The only person who could have been is Sully. So you see Deshane get up from the table. Everything is just like, he's like thinking underwater, because Shelley's trying to talk to him about the shit that's going on. But then he gets up from the table and he goes to the toilet, and Sully is in the gents, basically, and then they have their discussion. But this is what it was. This is what it all boiled down to. So Sully was telling Deshane that he needed to step back now, because Sully was going to be the big man of it all. But as Deshane was saying to Sully, that just to make sure that he gets his money, because what happened is when Sully was either put away or basically went to ground. If you'd have watched the ones coming up, he went to ground and was living on a barge. It was Deshane who made sure that while Sully wasn't present within the life, within the scene, within the milling of the street thing, he still got his money at the end of the day. So Deshane always made sure that Sully still got his money, so he wanted that reciprocated, which Sully said that he would do. I don't know how well they're going to be separated from each other, because I find with these two is that these two always need each other, and can't really be without each other. Yes, they grew up together and came up together, but they've got to a point where their paths are literally diverging and splitting against each other. So now it's all about, as I see, which one of them can take the upper hand. So then it's all moving on, and you see that Lauren has had the little baby boy, still can't name him, and you can see that she's not really bonding with this baby. And all I will say is, any wonder why? Any wonder why? If you've watched the backstory to Lauren and everything else, especially between her and Jax, you would have known this girl has been through a lot, First things being, she was with someone from a rival gang, and she was doing pillar talk basically. So when they found out, Sully and Deshane found out that she was doing pillar talk because one of their people got basically killed, Jax literally went to her and said, what the fuck you been telling this dude? So Lauren, being Lauren, told her, and Jax fucked her up, like beat her sister like she was a man on road, basically beat her sister, and then told her to get the fuck out. But Lauren didn't have nowhere to go. Now, Lauren may have been street smart, but she weren't that street smart, not like Jax street smarts basically. So she went from there straight into a relationship, it seems like, with this guy that was hella abusive, or shit started to come out and she was controlled by this man. I don't even think she really wanted to be pregnant, but he was forcing her to keep that baby basically, so she had no choice but to keep that baby. So then you see the story of Lauren start to play out in regards to this baby. Like, Jax has really come on board, loves the baby, but you can see Lauren really is not there. She's not connecting with this baby in the slightest, and all she can see is the person that she actually had to kill in the end, because she had to fucking kill Curtis in the end just to get the fuck away from him. Now, throughout the parts with her and Jax, I kept on thinking, something's gonna come. I can feel it. Something's coming to spoil Jax's happiness and Jax's joy. Something is going to come, but I didn't know what was going to happen. But at that point, I really didn't know what was going to come and fuck up these two relationship in that sense, or what was going to come for that baby. Then it moves to Stefan, and Stefan has been placed into foster care, which I find quite weird, to be fair, because I was like, it's always been the three of them. It's always been Aaron, Stefan, and Jamie. So I don't understand why they took Aaron out of this season. Do you know what I mean? I don't understand why they took him out, because that would have been a pinnacle move for him, because he was the older brother. So I don't know if he would have been able to look after Stefan at that point in time, but they were trying to say that Stefan's gone to some job in Leeds and this, that and the other. So I don't know if there was a case that he couldn't have looked after him or anything like that. But it seemed a little bit unfair, and a little bit, the story didn't gel in that sense, because there was always the three of them together. And the fact that Jamie got killed in the flat, bearing in mind the two brothers were in the flat at the time. Yes, Stefan saw who shot him up, but you didn't see any playback in regards to what the hell happened with Aaron at the end of the day. And I was quite disappointed that they didn't give that little bit of a storyline in terms of seeing his journey and what happened with him as well. So with this, you can tell that Stefan is literally wanting to enact revenge. Like, he's walking to school and he ends up seeing Sully walking his daughter to school as well, and then he's literally dead staring Sully down, and Sully can probably feel someone staring at him, and then looks back and sees Stefan staring at him, and then Stefan just runs off out of the school. Now, my thing is Stefan has never been about these streets. Like, seriously, yes, he wants to enact this revenge, but how far is he really going to be able to take it? Because Stefan has never been about the streets. Because the one thing about Jamie is he's kept his brother away from those streets. He kept his brothers away from the fucking fuck shit and the bullshit that goes on in the streets and with other people, because he wanted his brothers to have an education. At the end of the day, as Jamie, as the head of the household, after the parents are gone, he saw himself as he needs to do this to a means to an end to ensure that his brothers were cared for at the end of the day. So he didn't allow them to get involved in that. So, like, if you remember, there was the situation with when Stefan was younger with their little friend who ended up getting killed, basically, and dumped in the dumpster, and that's where they found him. So, but the thing of it is them two were put to the test by Jax in terms of running some drugs. And what happened is there wasn't no money or nothing in the bag. It was paper, but they didn't know this, and they got robbed. So when they went back and they told Jax what had happened, Jax was basically putting them under fire. So basically she was initiating them, but she was testing. And basically the little one ended up protecting Stefan and putting himself in the line of fire. So that's how you knew the little one was going to have a lot of gumption being out on the street, but Stefan was not cut for that life at all. So in order for him to enact any type of revenge against Sully, he'd have to like build on that anger and that hate and everything that he had in regards to what he'd witnessed. So the one point that I do want you to remember is when Jax basically has gone over to check like the running of the drugs and this, that and the other, and speaking to the group on a whole. And I think she went to speak to Kieran, because don't forget, you got the Shane, you've got Sully, and then you've got where Sully's put Jax, she's like third in command in that sense, and then Jax has put Kieran in command of all the other kids that are out on road selling for them. So then you see this woman come up with her baby, and you can tell she's a complete addict, like absolute complete addict. Her baby wasn't cared for in the slightest. She wanted the things, and at first I don't think they were going to give it, even though they took the money. And Jax saw the baby, and then Jax made the decision to actually tell them to give her the stuff that she was asking for at the end of the day. And Jax was having a go at this woman for not cleaning up her baby and why her baby's so dirty. Now, my key thing is remember, Jax allowed for that sale to go through, knowing full well that this woman was not caring for her baby the way that she should have done. And then you flip to the fuck sheet of Lauren, who's getting one of Jack's boys to come to the house to sell her what they call dark, which is very addictive. So it's kind of like a twofold thing going on there. But as again, we shall get to that point. All I will say is keep that little nugget in your brain, and I'll tell you why I brought that point up. So then enters in the Irish, and the way that the Irish enter in is when Jax and Sully to put a storage place, basically, because they're expecting a shipment of the drugs to come in. But what they ended up getting instead is the two severed heads of the Moroccans that they dealt with in the other season. Basically, they were their point of call in terms of shipping the drugs and getting the drugs then shipped to them. And then in the mouth of one of the Moroccans was a phone, and Sully opens the phone, and all you see on it is call me. So Sully's called this number, and it's an Irish guy. Now, the Irish guy is the head, basically, and then he sends out his nephew, so he's got his nephew doing his bidding. Now, my thing is, as I picked up through the episode, my thing is how are you going to provide Sully and whoever else with this shipment of drugs that the Moroccans provided? Don't forget, the Moroccans were providing the uncut stuff themselves and shipping it over, yeah, and they were paying them a fee to do it. So my thing is how are you then going to provide them with the same kind of consistent service when you've robbed their shit, then to sell it back to them, then to want to take a cut of it? So where is the next shipment and everything like that gonna come from? That's my thing. Where is the next shipment and everything like that gonna come from? That's what I was questioning at the end of the day. How are you gonna rob from the people, take their shit to sell it back at them at a price, then where's the next shipment coming from? Because at the end of the day, the people who was doing the whole shipment and bringing the shit in, you literally fucking killed them. So where are you going to get your shipment from? That's what was running around in my brain. Where are you going to get your shipment from? We end up then flipping back and we're seeing Deshane going to the people who, I think her name is Life. You got Life, you got Lizzie, and then you got Jeff. These are the 3 white people that he was dealing with that was involved in all the situation. Lizzie is the person that Deshane wanted to kill in the first place, and Jeff pled for her life, so he didn't end up doing her nothing. But if he had, he probably wouldn't be in the situation that he ends up being in anyway by the end of these episodes. Anyway, so Deshane goes to Life. Basically, he wants to get his money out, and Life is saying basically that, you know, it costs money in order to squirrel the money in what they're doing in order to clean it. So basically, Deshane was saying he put in 16 mil, but Life was saying, no, you've only got 15 mil. Like, where's the other mil gone? So basically, she was saying that was used in order to clean the money to put it into legitimate business. So Deshane has point blank said to her that I want my money back now. She's saying that he will have to at least wait. It's going to be quite difficult to get it out. Now, I believe that at this point, Life and Lizzie had already got the money out, but were playing a merry game with Deshane. That's how I saw it from this episode. I thought, nah, something just ain't right here. So Deshane basically threatened her and said that he was going to come back the next day. And if she didn't have his money, then she would know what was going to happen. Like, Deshane is a cold person. Like, if people, the only things he's bothered about is his money, is his bottom dollar. He ain't bothered about nothing else. He is kind of bothered about certain people close to him, but that's about it. When it comes to money, he will do a motherfucker over when he needs to and when he has to. He's not like Sully, where it's kind of quick draw McGraw and ask questions later, basically. So then it flips to a situation going on in Summer House in terms of Kieran. Immigration have come knocking on the door because basically the well-to-dos want this housing estate to gentrify it. That's what they want it for. They want to upset all the black people and also the people from the poorer communities out of their estates in order to gentrify, in order to take it, build condos, build whatever it is they want to build on there and get rich people in. Basically, that's what they wanted to do. So they were using immigration to do it. They were using bailiffs to do their dirty work, police, all sorts, any type of thing just to get these people out. Now, there's certain people there that weren't gonna go nowhere. So with Kieran, because he came over with his mum as a baby, albeit a baby, you know, he didn't have no immigration. So basically the immigration people tried to take him. Now my thing is where the fuck you think you're gonna take this boy to? Like, seriously, where the fuck do you think you're gonna take this boy to? He's been there like as a baby and he's a grown man, he's in his 20s. So how come you come in now to come and take him when you didn't come and take him before? Because at the end of the day, his mum is not well, so he's his carer for his mum, and he's the one that brings the money into the household as well in terms of what he's doing. I don't think his mum fully knows what he does, but I think she has an inkling that it's not above board at the end of the day. So they literally dragged him out, and this is what I say about when you got the numbers and the community comes together, the strength that they can be for the people around them. Because these people were not letting Kieran go nowhere. They came, they fucking stood in front of the vans and then they sat down so nobody could move nowhere at the end of the day, because they were like, we've had enough. We've had enough of you fuckers coming into our estates and trying to fucking force us out of them. This is our home. At the end of the day, you kick us out, where the hell are we going? Because they ain't giving them no houses to go move to. So where the hell are they going at the end of the day? So this is what I mean about talking about strength in numbers, because this actually showed what a community can do when they get together for their own. And I will say again that people consistently keep underestimating Sully. Like really underestimating Sully and keep thinking they can do him over and he won't really do anything because he's the one with the heart. But let's put it this way, as I've already clocked throughout these episodes, Sully is dead behind the eyes. Sully is dead behind the eyes. This man don't care about shit at the end of the day. Yes, he can have a heart up to a point, but you cross him and then you're fucked. Case in point being Billy thought he could play both sides. Now, he knew what the fuck he did, but we will talk more about Billy when we get into the couple next episodes, because he's still a prominent feature in those ones. But he basically played Sully with the Irish and basically shopped him out. So basically what had happened is Billy was tasked to finding where these Irish people are or where his food is so he could go and get it back. So basically Billy walked them into a trap. One dude got killed out of all of it, and then that's when Sully came face to face with the nephew of the guy who spoke to Sully on the phone basically. And I'm like, these people don't know who they're fucking with, like, for real. Because the thing with Sully is he literally watches, he listens, and he's clocking everything as it's going on. He's clocking everything as it's going on. Sully ain't stupid. Yes, he may kind of act quickly and then you're picking up the pieces afterwards, but he's not stupid. And I think he kind of had a game plan from when he knew what he was dealing with. That's when dude had a game plan in his head at the end of the day. He was not stupid. It moves to Jack coming in. Lauren's asleep on the chair because the drugs that she's taken has basically done her in. So she's asleep on the chair and Jack is sitting back checking for the baby, and as she's sat back she's found the little foil wrapper which had the drugs in on the chair. So Jax is there picking it up and then just looking at her. Doesn't wake her up or anything, because she ain't gonna wake her up from the drug filled stupor that she's in. At the end of the day, you have to let that thing lie. But Jack is gonna pick her moment of when she talks to Lauren. But my thing is as I said, is how can Jax really say anything when she allowed for drugs to be sold to a person that is completely addicted to drugs and has a baby and knows full well that that woman was not caring for her child correctly in any way, shape or form. And then you're going to get mad because your sister is doing the same thing. That's what I mean. It's going to turn a little bit hypocritical in that sense. Because at the end of the day, you're dealing the shit that your sister's taking. So that's what I wanted just to leave in your head. As I said, it's different when it happens to your own. Jax can basically remove herself from that situation and give her the order to give that other woman drugs, because at the end of the day, it's not her family member, it's not her baby. But still, that baby's still innocent to what the mother is doing. But you've allowed for that baby to be affected and impacted upon by giving the mother the stuff that your sister is then taking. So then it becomes a bit of a little hypocritical instance, because understandably so, Jax ain't gonna like it because it's her sister and baby is her family. So she is gonna do for her family in that sense. But this is what I say, is karma comes back around to lick you in your ass. It's not a nice bit of karma, but it really, really does. And it's going to depend on how Jax then treats this situation and deals with this situation, because at the end of the day, Lauren has got a lot of motherfucking trauma that she is going through, and it's untreated trauma, and you can see that going through these episodes. You can see that on her, but it's being ignored. There's no support or help coming forward in regards to what she's been through and what she continues to go through. But that's where I'm going to end it right now, and I'll be back with the next episode, with the next discussion, with the next breakdown, because I have lots more to talk about with you. As I always say, please hit that subscribe button, please hit that notification button so you know you're back on and doing videos. And I will see you all again soon. Peace out.